Welcome. Awesome. We are going to get started in just a few minutes. We're going to wait for folks to come on in and we'll get started. So, this is going to be, I'm so excited for this masterclass today. I am just pumped, pumped. What's going on, Ayan? Lauren, Tom, welcome. I am so excited for this masterclass today. Hello, Alon, Chris, Archie, David, Gavin. Oh my gosh, it's going to be a full house today. I am so excited. If you guys are here and you could hear me, just type in the chat. Just say you can hear me or something. What's going on? Andrew, Scott, welcome. Let's can you hear me here at all? Awesome. Could you see me? I'm in the corner here too. I'm in the corner. I'm in the house and you're in the house too. We're in the house together. If you can see me and hear me, type in the chat and we're going to get started in a few minutes. Type in the chat where you're coming in from too. What state, country you're in, whatever. Hopefully United States. Where you're coming in from. What's your business too? What business are you in? Type that in the chat. Gavin from Florida. All right, St. Augustine, you can see fine. You can hear me. Chris, Alon, Archie, welcome. We're going to get started. I'm so excited for this conversation we're going to have today. These 5 shifts that we're going to be having today. You are going to like, oh my gosh, your mind is going to be blown. It's going to be like scattered all over the floor. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I got like all love for you and thumbs up. You guys are here. Hello, Dava and Darren. Welcome. Type in the chat where you're coming in from, what business you're in. Moisha, welcome. Dava, we're going to jump in just a minute. Oh my gosh, you guys are so on time. Grab yourself a cup of coffee because I'm going to go so fast. I'm going to go like lightning speed. I'm going to go deep. I'm stopping for no one, nobody. We're going to go so far and so deep in this masterclass. You're going to have some breakthrough experiences, conversations with me in the chat. Don't worry, you can relax. Your video won't be on, your mic won't be on. It'll be just chat. We'll just chat, have this intimate chat conversation today. Andrew Trappin, welcome. Executive recruiting. Awesome. All right. So, yeah, that's what I'm excited about here. I hope that this never happens to you, but I know that there's some blind spots here with how we see our website and how prospects actually see them. And I also know that you get very frustrated. One gets very frustrated when your solution, which is so unique, so different, is confused with solutions that are nothing like it. And that's a massive headache. Welcome, Brian. Welcome, William L. Loftus is in the house. So this is the masterclass we're going to be talking about today. Hype marketing failing, the 5 shifts to lead your category and boost sales through AI-powered on-brand content. And we're not selling products here. We're going to be talking about ChatGPT 4, but it's about perspective shifts, the 5 shifts that you really need to make in order for you to achieve, I think, what we're calling co-intelligent marketing. And I'm so excited to share this with you guys. So, your homepage, if it's in love with your precious, your precious solution, that's what it really looks like to people. I'm going to be talking about this today, and I want to honor you for taking time to work on your business, to take the time with me, to take the time for yourself, to really stop, grab a cup of coffee, and let's make these 5 shifts together. Because if you can make these 5 shifts, lots of really amazing things are going to happen for your business. And I'm so excited for you. So type in the chat where you're coming in from. There's a lot of folks here today. We've got Craig, Matt, Brian, William, Dorian, Moshe, Diva, Steve, Andrew, Archie, Scott, Chris, David, Gavin, Alan, Tom, and again, type in the chat where you're coming in from and what business you're in. Because hype marketing fails us. It fails us and it's failing you. And if you've been disappointed by the quality of marketing content you're getting from GPT, Just give me a 9 in the chat. Give me a 9 in the chat if you've been a little disappointed by what you're getting out of GPT. Yeah, so this is really part of the conversation today. But there are some things that you need to understand that prompts are dead. Prompting is dead. And I'm going to show you today what is alive, what you need to inspire and animate today. Welcome, Steve. We're going to be talking about how your best sales presentation is not your sales presentation and why that's so, and why, if you've just rebranded your website and it's done nothing for sales, bad, 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 why that is the case. Because I want you guys to be successful. Because I realize that if you look at your innovation, what you're selling, and all your ideal prospects that you want to sell that to, what do you think is standing in the way? Let's be real. Let's cut to the chase right from the get-go here. What is standing in the way? Type it in the chat between your amazing innovation that is helping so many people, so many businesses, and your ideal prospects who aren't customers yet. What's standing in the way? Product misunderstanding, Gavin. Content and user interfaces. Well, I'm not sure what that means. I think so. I know what content means. Type in the chat. What stands in the way? Let's get real, people. We're going to be talking about AI powered marketing. But before we go there, some fundamental things that you need to get your head around to be successful here. An investment, crowdfunding, great. Educating prospects, yes. Inability for hospital leaders to make decisions. Visibility. So this is what stands in your way. It is your message. Your message stands in the way. And we're going to be talking about the 5 shifts to lead your category and boost sales through AI powered on brand content. And we're going to do this. But the 5th shift, it will only work once you have actually made the first 4 shifts. So we're going to save the GPT piece, the AI powered piece, which many of you probably are here because you're excited about, because that piece will fail. It won't work. It will die badly. It will crash and burn if you haven't made the first 4 shifts that we're going to be talking about. So GPT is like an apprentice marketer that has been trained on billions and billions of marketing words from the 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. And guess what? That it also includes Enron's marketing. And type in the chat if you know who Enron was and what kind of marketing they used. Type in the chat if you know, if you're old enough that you know that. Welcome, Benjamin. Welcome, Harold. So true or false, actual game changers will not have game changer in the heading, in the headline. Type that in the chat. True or false, actual game changers will not have game changer. Yes, you know Enron, so you know the kind of marketing that they use. Guess what ChatGPT was trained on? Yes, it's not just Enron, but it's the billions of words that include that. So this is what we're going to be talking about today. I have had the privilege of working with some amazing unicorn CEOs that are bringing amazing breakthrough products to the market, and these CEOs have made these 5 shifts, and it's just unbelievable the work that they're doing and the dent that they're making in the universe. Here's an example of a very bad website. And you may look at this and say, well, there's nothing wrong with this site. It's pretty. Ooh, it's pretty. But there's everything is wrong with this website. Type in the chat if you can see. Hello, welcome, Lauren Wise, Sankar. What's wrong with this website, this homepage, this sales presentation? This is a masterclass, remember. This is a masterclass where I expect you to participate, to get involved, because this is how you're going to make these 5 shifts and take your business to the next level. It hypes products and not customer solution. Yes. Powerful, integrated skill. What even in the hell does that mean? The leader in data protection says who? Oh my gosh. Here's another bad one. HealMed, transforming mental health care delivery. Says who and what are they selling? What is this? It is baffling. But guess what? That is like so many CEOs have their websites, their marketing like that. And this is getting into the 5 shifts we're going to talk about. So, how well do you think right now your message cuts through the noise in your customer's world on a scale of 1 to 5? Give me a 1 to 5 in the chat. 5 is equal to the best. Type in the chat. Yeah, Ayan, Gavin, Benjamin, Archie, Harold, 2, William, 2, Moisha, 3, Steve, 2. So if your story isn't simple, isn't clear and compelling, I'm sorry, you are toast. The story is the business strategy. And if you don't have your homepage doing the heavy lifting, your story and your sales will suffer. Your salespeople will suffer. They will leave. Great salespeople will leave. So marketers have let us down. I realize that. And you see the average tenure of a CMO like 13 months. And that's because they're doing it all wrong. They're playing by the wrong playbooks. They're failing in similar ways that GPT is failing us. We're going to be talking about this today. Most marketers haven't sold a thing in their lives because they don't really know the purpose of marketing. It's not about hype. It doesn't work. Promotional solution marketing doesn't work. Chief hype officers fail. If you look at the words that businesses are using on their websites, it is failing not just SEO, but it's failing their businesses. So, what should you do instead? This is what we're going to be talking about. These are the 5 shifts that we're going to lead you through so that you could lead your category and boost sales through AI powered on brand content. I'm going to move super, super fast. I expect you guys to keep up, drink as much coffee as you need to. The ground rules are you, first of all, y'all are here and I love you. Let me give you a heart. You're here. I love you because you are my people. The ground rules for this event is that it's not for spectators. This is for participants. So I expect you to chat in the chat. Success loves speed and action. Ground rule number 2, I will challenge you. I can promise you that you will not be able to ever, ever, ever again look at your marketing, your homepage the same way again. And that is a good thing. There will be no replay here. This is an experience, and there will be giveaways at the end for participants. Here are the giveaways. Number 1, a 16-part magnetic messaging framework, which is essentially a template of the top performing prospect engagement websites in the business, hands down. It's like a playbook for a great website. The 12 sales conversations that you must have, think of it as the perfect pitch for a sales deck, what those sales deck needs to have in order for you to have buying conversations that get customers to change. And the third thing is a URL, which is the GPT homepage messaging evaluator, which I built based on the magnetic messaging framework, which gives you a score and positive and constructive suggestions of what you need to do to your website in order for it to work with the magnetic messaging framework. Those are the giveaways for everyone who stays to the end. And my promise to you is I will not pitch you. Imagine that. It's not a pitch fest, even though I'm the CEO of Pitch Kitchen. But at the end, I will be offering an opportunity for you to book a free marketing and sales enablement strategy session with me and my team if you qualify. And the booking link for that is, I'm going to just put that here. Yeah, so you'll see up there on the right, offer. That's where you can book the session at the end. And that's if you qualify, and we're going to talk about what that means. All right, so does that sound fair in the chat? Give me a yes or a hell yes or a heck yes or absolutely yes if that sounds fair to you. Hello, Michelle. Thank you, Gavin, William, Chris, Michelle. That sounds fair to you? Yes, awesome. Yeah, so no pitching here. Awesome. Just value. Okay, Scott, awesome. Let's jump into this. All right, so there's also a QR code, which you're going to see at the end, which is the same thing as that booking link. You can photograph that to book. So who is your ideal customer? How well you understand your customer is your biggest competitive advantage. Type in the chat, who is your ideal customer? Let's put our arms around them. Those are the people we're serving right now. So if you're here, you're likely selling an innovation or revolutionizing something. Is that a yes? Give me a 1 in the chat if that is you. If you're selling an innovation or revolutionizing something. Yes, Stuart, Michelle, Harold, Chris, Benjamin, Alan, Archie. It seems like you guys are in the right place. Absolutely great. Moisha, Craig. All right, so I've got some bad news. Bad news for you guys. And this is part of the first shift. Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah. And I know that hits you square in the eyes, but here's the reality. Um, unless you make these shifts, perspective shifts, you're not going to reach the goals that you need to. You're not really going to have an innovation and lead your category. I have the privilege of helping some of these CEOs make these shifts. Trisha's tripled sales because of the shifts that have been made, and these CEOs have also um, doubled, in some cases, tripled their business because of the shifts that we're talking about today. These are proven shifts, proven perspectives that you could make that have been made that businesses have succeeded with. The book that is being published in June, there'll be pre-order pre-sales next month. I've written it called it's in editing right now. Start with the problem: how to grow sales and lead your category in a market that's already flooded with solutions. Just so you know, before the shifts, CEO of a innovative company, stagnant growth, good salespeople were leaving, value of innovation wasn't getting across, missing forecasts. After the shifts, unbelievable, went from 137 customers to almost 3,000 in 12 months. Massive, massive. Same thing with Manish, uh, created an innovation for shipping in Amazon and missed targets, couldn't invest product without more customers, and they have grown exponentially because of these shifts that need to be made. Why is this so hard? Marketers are going to market. They're going to market all day. There are blind spots that you're not seeing. You're using outdated playbooks, and so is GPT. Alternatives still are better for most of the buyers out there. And there's a ton of wasted spend on bad websites and bad presentations. I know that there are lots of companies that are failing. A lot of venture backed companies have failed in 2023, and there's an innovation graveyard. So it's not just to have an innovation. I appreciate you guys. I love you. You've got an innovation. You're revolutionizing something in your industry. That's great. I love you. But that isn't enough. I'm your coach here. It's not enough to be successful. There's a graveyard of innovation out there. The best salesperson will not save you because they're going to quit if you don't support them with the right perspectives. Your fancy GPT prompts won't save you unless you train the GPT. We're going to be talking about that. It's trained on the marketing from 2015. So who am I? I am Greg Rosner. I am the CEO of Pitch Kitchen. We're a team of marketing. We're a marketing agency. I'm also a fractional CMO on the board of three companies. Prior to this, I have sold as a salesperson. I was essentially a seller. I came to marketing from a sales perspective because there's so much shitty marketing out there. I personally sold $35 million worth of enterprise software and services, built up Pitch Kitchen because taking this new approach of conversational buying, conversational sales, and I've worked on 3,000 websites, sales presentations, messaging frameworks that have earned about $100 million collectively, and I am so grateful and honored to have done that. Also, I've designed pitch decks that have helped raise several hundred millions of dollars, which I'm also very proud of. So, who is this for? This is for CEOs bringing an innovation to their customers, CEOs committed to their vision, CEOs of early stage or growth stage companies stuck between 2 to 75 million, CEOs whose success depends on getting prospects to change what they're doing. CEOs are able to invest their time and money into the business. So if this is you, give me a one in the chat. If this is not you, feel free to bow out. This is not for you. You don't have to stay for this meeting. This is just for you guys. Dava, Chris, Moisha, Dorian, Gavin, Alan, Scott. Okay, great, great. Stuart, Craig. So this is my promise to you in the next 45 minutes: how to nail your sales message, absolutely crush it, even if your solution is sophisticated, complex, and needs to be demonstrated. How to turn your homepage into a home run for your perfect buyers, even if your prospects weren't even looking for the solution you're selling. Why it's game over for most marketing playbooks and what you need to do instead. How to attract ideal customers into buying conversations and lead your category as a category of one, even if they've never heard of your solution. And the fifth shift we're going to talk about is how to use AI properly to create a torrent of 100% on brand content without hallucinations and without fancy pants prompts that work inconsistently. So this is my promise to you. Are you guys game for this? All right. Um, if you guys game, type something in the chat. You're game for this. Say I'm game if you're game for this. So is this you? Just want to your solution is absolutely amazing, but your customers love you. But you and your sales reps are working so hard explaining what it is, how it works, and why they benefit. It really should be a no-brainer, but it is a brainer. You may have a marketer marketing, but it's not turning into sales. You've asked ChatGPT to write you a blog, a post marketing, but it was rubbish. And you spent more time cleaning up the trash that comes out of the robot, making you what actually, or making the people you hire what? It doesn't work. 78, well, I'm going to show you what does work, but 78% or more of your demos, meetings end with no sales, even 6 months later. You've read all these really great books, like This is Marketing from Seth Godin, Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller, Gap Selling. You've read these great books, you know the formula. But if you stop and you look at your homepage, you look at your proposals, you look at your messaging, you listen or you read the transcripts from your salespeople's conversations, and you're not seeing the insights that you know manifest on your homepage. You're not seeing it there. Uh, you really haven't made these shifts. If your salespeople are saying different things and everyone's telling a different story, you haven't made these shifts and you need to. If you're spending money on a graphics person, a website person, a social media person, PPC person, but you're missing a single compelling narrative that drives your customers forward to make the change they need to and to help and get you more sales, then you really have to stay for these shifts. If your sales deck looks like a textbook with lots of text on it and white backgrounds explaining stuff, you haven't made these shifts. If your website has words like this, creating innovative workflow technologies that drive high, oh my God, oh, and bloody hell, as they say in England, what WTH? So, like, do you know what this company does? No, nobody does. It doesn't work. If you use these words, self-ascribing, scalable, easy to manage, says who, powerful, says who, most trusted, says who, innovative, says who, best in class. Oh my gosh, if you have to say best in class or world class, you can be guaranteed it's not. Like, oh my gosh. And the bad news here is that GPT has been trained on all of this bullshit, all this bad marketing. All right. It's hello, Chip, welcome. And that's a big problem. So if you train your GPT on invisible marketing, and that's what that stuff is, all this stuff is what I call invisible marketing, you will lose sales. And we're going to talk about the fifth shift. And I want to almost jump to the fifth, but I can't because you will fail in the fifth shift if you don't make the first five. So your sales deck, maybe a Franken deck, you're sending out more competitive matrices and case studies and ROI case calculators, and all of it isn't helping convert. You're thinking, well, your solution's sophisticated and every deal is complicated and every customer is unique. So how is it possible that your sales messaging, what you're calling your product, what it does, what problem it solves, how can it be simple? Well, you haven't made the shifts. So the good news here is the good news that those are only symptoms. Those are symptoms. And the real problem is that you haven't made these shifts. But once you do, once you make these shifts, and we're going to jump through them as fast as I can, but I need you to experience these. Once you do, you have complete confidence in every dollar you spend on marketing. You will lead your category, accelerate qualification. Your leadership team, the people you rely on, you trust to grow your business, will be aligned. You will be able to create tons of 100% on brand content everywhere, every month, without hiring anybody new, and maybe saving a ton of money on marketing. Attract ideal prospects showing up predisposed to buy. So that's amazing outcomes once you make these shifts. So let's dive right into it. So the first shift here is lead a movement. Lead a movement. So what do I mean by that? Yes, we all said we're selling an innovation, but what does your innovation challenge? So type in the chat if you can say, what does your innovation challenge? So what's the enemy that you and your customer both have in common? Type the enemy in the chat. Type the enemy that you have and they have. So Salesforce.com, you remember 2012? The enemy for Salesforce.com was software. They were bringing everything to the cloud. So I hope you appreciate what I mean by the enemy. The enemy is the common enemy between your business, and your customers. So Salesforce, no more software. HubSpot, inbound marketing was the new game. Adobe, creativity for all was the aspiration to the place, the promised land. DocuSign, end agreement chaos was the agreement chaos was the enemy for DocuSign and all their customers. So I hope you can appreciate this first shift, which is to lead a movement. So the old way to sell is to make claims about how great your product is, how it works, and how awesome it is. And here's we're the best, and here's why. The new way, which you need to adopt, and this is parcel to part of leading a movement, is talking about how the old way is dead and encouraging your customers to make a change. You are leading a movement from an old way to a new way. So what's your contrarian ideology? So Andrew, bad agencies creating bad impressions. All right. Benjamin, inertia is probably the old thing. Be really specific. Give us some more words there, Benjamin, so I've got something to work with because I don't know anything about your business. Manual payments, Moisha, yes, probably that is the enemy. So in order to stand out, you got to know what you need, what you're standing for. You got to know, tell people what you want them to stop doing. Stop making manual payments, Moisha. Stop it. That's what you want your customers to do, isn't it? Yes. So, historic, Craig, stop with the paper-based, fraud-ridden, inaccurate process. Stop it. And Craig, Gavin, what do you want your folks to start doing? And it's not just start working with you. It's working with your solution to create what outcome? What's the outcome? That's what they need to start doing. Here's a good example of old way versus new way right there at the top of a website. Goodbye to the old way, hello to the new way. You need to just put your pin the tail on the donkey here and be really clear. So stop with the hype marketing is our message, lead a movement instead. Absolutely. If you look at the unicorn companies in every industry, they have led this movement. And the people who aren't enrolled in the journey and aren't okay with you attacking the villain of the story, that's okay. They're going to ignore you anyway, and you can just move on, and they'll be fine. Um, Sales is an act of leadership. If you agree with this, give me a one in the chat. Because if you're going to sell your innovation, you need to lead a movement. I shit you not. Lead an uprising, lead a frickin' rebellion against the status quo. We're talking gloves off here, people. If you want to be the market leader, dial in what you're rebelling against and double down on that, because that is why your customers are going to become customers. That's why prospects are going to want to change, because you are not just selling and hyping how great your solution is. You are helping people adopt a new way. So if you were to give a TED talk, for example, what would that TED talk be about? Type in the chat. What would that TED talk be about? Think about it. A world, you'd start off saying, okay, in a world where, imagine a world where. So paint that picture in the chat for me. Type in that chat, imagine a world where what happens? And that will describe clearly, hopefully, this first shift of the movement that you need to make to lead your customers to. And this concept of the movement can even show up on your homepage. Look at the homepage of Airbnb. Oh my gosh, live anywhere. That is their movement that they are leading to help people realize that they can actually, this is aspirational. They don't actually mean that you can give up your house and live anywhere, or maybe they do, maybe in rare one in a million circumstances. But it's this aspirational picture of leading a movement to where you can live anywhere. Is this making sense to you? Making sense? If it is, type in the chat. Look at these movements here from Make Your Day, TikTok is Make Your Day, Trust Your Source, the Wall Street Journal. Just Do It, Nike, Hit Your Number, Zoom, Eat with Purpose, Chopped, Find Your Beach, Corona. What do all these have in common? Type in the chat, what do all of these hashtags have in common? Imagine a world, Dorian, where access to capital is democratized to reach. I love that. Love that. Great work. Imagine a world where you hire leaders in 50 days with 5 or few top candidates. Okay, so I would press you, Andrew, that it's the outcome. So is it really just hiring leaders in that time frame, or is it what those leaders can do? What's the outcome or result? I'm not sure. It's a little bit like the Cinderella dilemma, where we don't know if the encouragement to Cinderella is it to go to the ball, is it to get married rich, is it to um, live happily ever after. All three are right. We need to dial that in. But anyway, type in the chat, what do all this have in common? What is your buyer's mission statement? Insight to impact means nothing. That's a statement. It doesn't call people to do anything. So Scott, that doesn't work. Inspiration. These are all inspiring. They all start with what? A verb. These are all about movements, leading a movement, leading a rebellion. I hope that's clear. Zoom Info, they're selling data for Christ's sake. But their movement is about helping people hit their number, helping businesses, helping CEOs hit their number. Now, that is their movement. Dominate your market, Apollo. So marketing is about action. It's about change, not hype. And if you fail to make this shift, you're not going to do very well in selling your innovation. So Jeff Aronson, CEO of EquipX, before he made these shifts, pipeline was thin, confusing marketing content, letting partners down, losing deals to no decision. And after, well, this is actually their website before. It's terrible. Like nothing's wrong with it design wise, but messaging, it's maximizes profitability. And oh my gosh, you lost me. Afterwards, he tripled the revenue of the business, 6x their pipeline. I came in like 6x, not double, triple. It's like 6x their pipeline in 4 months with confidence in marketing. So grateful that the business is materializing. And this is their after. Reduce your fleet costs. Makes so much sense. Bring strategic equipment management to your health system. So good, so good. And anyway, this is the first shift. Lead a movement. Does that make sense to you? Does this make sense? Let me look at what you said. Benjamin, delight your patients. I like that. Hire faster with confidence. I like that too. Give me a yes in the chat if this makes sense. Brian, Dava, Gavin, Chris, Stuart, William. Yes, Ayan. Okay, okay. This seems to make sense. And if you haven't typed chat yes, give me just a yes in the chat. This is participatory. I need you to participate. So let's get on to the second shift, which is start with the problem. Accelerate revenue through the channel. I'm not sure. I'm not so sure about that. We need to get more context. I don't know anything about what you do. By the way, context is everything. So we'll need that to decide. All right. So start with the problem. This is the shift number 2. And most of you don't do this today. But why not start with your solution? Most of you today are starting with your solution. And I get it. But why not start with your solution? So here's a picture. Go for it. Why not start with your solution? Suppose your market looks something like this. This is like the marketing landscape. Why not start with your solution? Type in the chat. Oh, by the way, this is the AI enabled market landscape. And if you don't have AI enabled in your business, well, every business in the next by 2024 is going to be AI enabled. It's going to lose its meaning, by the way. But this is the AI enabled market landscape. This is marketing landscape. What's wrong with starting your solution, starting your marketing with the solution? Type in the chat. What's wrong with this? What's wrong with starting with your solution? Type in the chat. Lost in the clutter. Nobody cares. Yes. Yes. It's just freaking noise. It's noise. It's noise. It's nobody sees anything. It's noise. So here's the key thing about starting with the problem. People are double or 2 times more likely to buy something than to relieve pain than gain something. So people are 2 times more likely to buy something to relieve pain than to gain something positive, gain something better. So are you selling a painkiller or a vitamin? Painkillers sell better than vitamins. This is a fact. I didn't make it up, but solution marketing doesn't work because it doesn't explain to people why should they change? What happens if they don't change? Why should they change now? And why should they change with you? Does this make sense? Type in the chat if you're beginning to understand why the old way of starting with your solution, saying things like, we help companies generate more this or create more this or create the vitamin that you're selling. We help companies do this awesome thing versus starting with the problem says, we help companies struggling with this. We help companies that are frustrated with this. We help CEOs or business leaders who are struggling with this, with something. If this makes sense, type in the chat that this is turning upside down your solution pitch. So it's not a solution pitch. And I'm also turning upside down, and this is in the book that I'm publishing, my book, where Jeffrey Moore start crossing the chasm. The chasm that you need to cross is not really you, it's your customers need to cross. The chasm of where the risk of changing is greater than the risk of doing nothing. Those are your prospects, but your customers are the risk of doing nothing is greater than the risk of changing. It's a beautiful poem by Anais Nin. I don't know if I can remember it, but it's like, and the day came when the risk of remaining tight in a bud was greater than blossoming. And I love that. And that really speaks to your customer's journey. And you got to ignore those people who the risk of changing is too great. You'll educate some of them, you'll influence many of them, but you need to double down and encourage and lead that rebellion and start with the problem to encourage people who the risk of doing nothing is so great that they need to make a change. Is this making sense to you? Type in the chat if this concept of focusing on the risk of doing nothing is really what's going to drive change. Yes, Steve, Chris, Davin. Okay, so this is an example of a really shitty website, Bennett Thrasher accounting firm. Wonderful company. Oh my gosh, great people. Accounting for the pace of change. Very cute. I don't really know what it means, like whatever. It didn't work. Now they're talking about getting the right accounting advice, technology advice, financial advice. That's what their customers want. And as you scroll down, you move to the problem section, which speaks about the problem with not having that advice. So type in the comments below. This is a little check to see if you are getting this second shift here. Type in the comments below, what is the number one problem that you solve? Type this in the chat. I want to check in with you to see if you really are getting this shift. As the CEO, you need to be clear, lucid about the number one problem that you solve. Type in the set. Access, okay. Slow hiring, problem, good. Access to viable businesses, that's not a problem. Gavin, most overlook documents and current security methods are inefficient. Okay, not very specific. Alan, expensive staffing costs in healthcare, good, problem. Inefficiency in what, Moisha? Sorry, too vague. Benjamin, patients can't get care when they want it, great. Harold, make label printing effortless and Harold, listen to me. That's not a problem. What is that, Harold? Type in the chat. Harold, that's not a problem. Andrew, inability to find the right talent. Good, problem. Tame large email volume in contract centers. So taming, Brian, I'm sorry, Brian, that's not a problem. Give it another shot. Craig, accelerate the residential. Craig, bad news for you. That's not a problem. Anyone could type in the chat why I'm saying that those aren't problems. What are they? Chip, struggling channel sales. That's a problem. Chris, communication gap, problem. Archie, access to unaccessible people. Archie, guess what? That's not a problem. So why am I saying that's not a problem? Come on, guys. Help each other here. You guys are brilliant CEOs. Why are those not problems? Okay. So Deva, brand awareness and loyalty. That's not a problem, Deva. That's a goal. Brand awareness and loyalty is a goal. Uh, uh, Make label printing effortless and bulletproof, Harold. That is a goal. So if you can't tell the difference between a goal that your customer has and a problem that they currently have, then you haven't made the shift. It's like I'm amazed at how powerful this is and how simple it is, but how difficult it actually is. Because this is why you're in business. You're in business. Your innovation was created to solve that problem, but it's not about the solution, it's about the problem. So is this beginning to click for some of you, at least who are here, that are getting it? Give it another shot in the comments. Come on, Harold. Come on, David. Give it another shot. This is beginning to make sense because you can't just give people facts to say, this. Do facts change people's minds? Yes or no? Type in the chat. Do facts change people's minds? They don't. You can't just tell people what their problem is or what their solution is. It doesn't. But what you could do is you can talk about the problem and lean into the problem because that's the only thing they care about. Okay, delay and fraud in the billions. Yes, Craig, nailed it. Harold, the expense and chaos of getting your label printing wrong. Nailed it. Really good. Okay, you got it. So this is a powerful shift. That's why I'm calling this the 5 shifts, because uh, they're hard to get and they affect everything in your business, your strategy, your marketing, your sales, messaging, your approach. So nobody cares about your why, your company, or anything really about your product. And that's a hard thing to say or really get. People care about the things that they themselves decide, and it's typically solving their problems. So, uh, yeah, long wait times for customer response. Brian, that is a problem. So if you can describe your customer's problem better than they can, they'll automatically believe that you have the best solution for them. Let me repeat this and take a screenshot of this if you need to, like print it out. If you can describe their problem better with more clarity and understanding and empathy, they will automatically believe you have the best solution. This is such a key thing, key element that most CEOs fail to do because they're so enamored with their solution. Here's an example of ReadyWorks after they made the shift. Um, Patience before paper. Oh my gosh, wonderful, wonderful. This is a narrative, a story that infuses every aspect of this business's um, like rocket ship growth, where they are helping hospitals and doctors get their doctors and nurses away from paper and spending more time with patients. And they're doing it through selling an innovation, which is smart forms on doctors and nurses devices. It's so simple, but you should see the before website. It's absolutely horrible. I think I showed it to you before. It's really, it doesn't work. All right. I'm also getting like a little slowness here. All right. So where are we now? I think we're in uh, number 3. So start with the problem was our second shift. If that makes sense, give me a hell yes in the chat, and that will unlock the third shift. Give me a hell yes in the chat. Heck yes, Andrew. Hell yes in the chat. Yes, Craig, Gavin, Dava. All right. The third shift that you need to make is make your customer the hero. Now, I know you've heard this before. You probably read a wonderful book by Donald Miller, Story Brand. But here's the thing. What is your marketing in love with right now? You know the books, you've read this stuff, you know your customer's the hero. But if I go to your homepage right now, what do you think I would say? Or what do you think ChatGPT 4 would say if it went to your homepage and it asked the question to itself, what is your marketing in love with right now? Type in the chat. What would ChatGPT say if you asked this question to ChatGPT? What is our marketing in love with? What is our homepage in love with? What would ChatGPT say? Come on, type in the chat. It's okay. Admission is the first part of healing here. Yes. Yes. All right. All right. I love you guys. I love you. I mean, it's all about love. So if your homepage and your marketing is obsessed with your solution, you have not made your customer the hero. CEOs saying, let's do that. Every marketer on the planet says I can do that. Everybody has no idea how. And I'm going to tell you exactly how you can do that here. This is the shift that you need to make. Your precious solution is not the hero. And the shift you need to make, if your customer is the hero, what does that make you? So type in the chat here, if your customer is the hero, what does that make you? I'm actually going to just refresh my browser here because this is just brutally slow. So if the customer is the hero, what does that make you in the story framing here? What does that make you? Type in the chat. So Dorian, not the superhero, but I would say the superhero that knows that they are in business to help other people. So they're not the superhero. Deva, the guide or trusted advisor. Their fan. Stuart, the comedic sidekick. Absolutely. Rich, their partner. Yes, the company behind the power. So yes, it makes you the trusted guide in the story. And remember, we talked earlier about the villain or the enemy. So guess what we're developing here? We're developing a story, a narrative story, where you are the guide to a hero who is dealing with a villain or an enemy, and you're going to help them conquer that enemy. Does that feel right? Just sort of that structure? It should, because instead of the old way where you're the hero saying why we're the best, we're the best, we have the best of this and the best that nobody gives a shit about. The new way is how we make you better. It's a big fundamental shift in your messaging, in your voice, the voice that comes through in every word that is published. And if you, this is the reason why when you ask ChatGPT 3.5 to write you something, the voice that it's using is all wrong. And it's not about the prompting. And I'm going to get to the secret of what it is. Here's an example of a very bad website. What are they selling? God knows what they're selling. AI human interaction, creating a better world for tomorrow. Oh my gosh. Gag me with a spoon, as the Valley Girls used to say, or something. Uh, maybe that's dating me, that comment from the 20 something. So this is the after. Give doctors superpower. Speaking about, story arcs. This is wonderful. This company is bringing emotional artificial intelligence to patient encounters. Like, oh my gosh, I get it. Did you get that from this site? Like, no, you did not. Yes, you may get an idea of like, oh, turn virtual patient checkups into deeply insightful interactions. I get it. So if you're really the trusted advisor in the story, that has to come through. This is a shift in every bit of your messaging, from your proposals to your emails, to your blog posts, to your videos, to your webinars, to your website, to your homepage, everywhere. What are you selling? You're selling a solution to someone who is dealing with what they're doing today, and they want to get to a future place where they're doing it better. It's very simple. So you need to help them change, help them transform. That's your role. So if you look to the current state where the risk of changing is too great, well, they are not your customer. So you want to involve yourself in your customer's story of change and take that position as the guide. So by the way, there's the QR code if you wanted a book, if you can't stay. We've got another 9 minutes to go. I want to get through the last two shifts. But Trisha, CEO, BST Perform, selling some amazing breakthrough technology that's helping um, uh, behavioral doctors um, perform better or get better outcomes for their patients. After she made these shifts, doubled sales in 3 months, confident with marketing and poised for acquisition. And you can see some of the posts that she did on LinkedIn with some of this messaging and design that was really copied and pasted from the sales presentation and from the website. And after she posted something like that, I got an email from her saying she booked an amazing meeting inbound from this kind of messaging. So don't tell me that words don't matter. They absolutely matter. They make or break your business. So, three, make your customer the hero is the shift. Does that make sense? Give me a chat, Zappa. Give me, Andrew, thank you. Does that make sense? Give me a yes in the chat and we'll unlock the third. So if you want to get some quick suggestions on your homepage, and I promise I'll be kind, I'll be nice. I won't be the sharp New Yorker that sometimes I can be. Type in your URL and we'll talk about it. So number four, name your category. So this is the fourth shift that you need to make. And I'm so excited to get to the fifth shift. Oh my gosh, your mind is going to be blown. Like, oh my gosh, I'm going to show you something like, oh my gosh. Like, why isn't everybody doing this? I don't know. They will be. Everyone will be doing this, but you're going to get to do it first. So, number four is name your category. So, what do I mean by name your category? This is the fourth shift. So look at this: telephone, mobile phone, smartphone, who knows what's coming next, but it probably has phone on the end of it. What changes is a prefix. So look at what Apple's doing with computing. They have created a new category of one they're calling spatial computing. Yes, they are competitors in this space, but they have become the leader in this category by giving it a prefix, spatial computing. Conversational intelligence category, adding conversation to intelligence. So how do you beat Bobby Fischer? You play him at any game but chess. And this is what we want you to do to create a category. ReadyWorks created that smart forms category for doctors, smart forms versus the old way, which is checklists. Clipper created video intelligence. The old way is video libraries. So what's critical here is you need to understand and get clear on what the old way is, the old way that most of your market is using, and give yourself a prefix that describes the outcome or result of your innovation. So intelligent recovery versus just backup, collaborative care organization, a CCO versus a PPO in healthcare. If this is beginning to make sense, let me know. I'm just going to put up on the board some categories that have been established by market leading companies that I am telling you guys that you could also do this. You could also message and market your innovation that's revolutionizing your industry by giving it a prefix. If you know what your prefix is, type it in the chat and we will discuss it. So what is your unique category? Type it in. Efficient executive hiring. Andrew, that's not a category. That I would say is a descriptor of a category. So the category may be efficient, but that's not it. It's like an attribute of it. Automated income verification. That sounds cool because income verification is the old way. Adding the prefix of automated is. Executive hiring. No, that's not it. Preemptive M&A. Interesting. Maybe. Partnerships that drive results. No, I'm sorry. That's not a category. Um, software. That's a description of the outcome of the category. Digital rights management for documents. No, that's not a category. So this takes some work. It may not happen in this session, but it could take some work. We work with our customers to define and name their category, and allows them to lead their market to become that unicorn in the Gartner quadrant. So let's unlock the fifth shift, and I'm like, drum roll, please, on here. If you guys are excited to get to the fifth shift, type in the chat. I'm so excited. I know I'm excited to talk about the secret weapon here. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm just barely containing myself. If you've had at least one sleepless night playing with GPT-4 or ChatGPT, type in sleepless in the chat. If you had it, I've had at least 6 sleepless nights blowing up creating amazing things with GPT-4. Like, oh my gosh, mind blowing. I've had sleepless nights. If you also have had that, give me some sleepless in Seattle, sleepless. So here is the use of this secret weapon. Let's jump into this. Okay, the secret weapon. Here it is. So, this is a part of the secret. Do you have a messaging framework document? This is a lead in to the secret weapon. Do you have a messaging framework document? Yep. Yep. Okay. So I don't know if you all know what a messaging framework document is, but I ask people on LinkedIn, do you have a sales marketing messaging framework document? No, we need one. No, who cares? Yes, we never use it. Okay. So have you been disappointed by the marketing content you get out of ChatGPT? Many of you said yes already. Prompting is dead. Hey, ChatGPT, 2015 called, they want their lingo back. And if you look at their lingo that you get out of ChatGPT 3.5, you'll get like discover, amplify, bespoke, embrace, robust, seamless, elevate, skyrocket, unleash, gag me with a spoon. Oh my gosh, doesn't work anymore. ChatGPT is like an apprentice marketer that has been trained on billions of marketing words from the 2015s, including Enron, which was a fraudulent company, and that marketing doesn't work. So here is the secret weapon. Get AI to write as your solution expert in your brand voice. But how do you do that? How do you get there? This is the secret weapon. Hire an outside expert who will refine your story through expert facilitated discussion interviews with your leadership, maybe a customer or partner, using the most effective messaging framework. Redesign your homepage, your sales deck, sales marketing, messaging, making it problem centric, helping you lead that rebellion, leading that movement, and then use the finished framework to pre-train a GPT by uploading the framework to GPT-4, creating a URL that you could use to generate oodles, tons, a torrent of 100% on-brand content. And I call this co-intelligent marketer, to create a co-intelligent marketer, which is a marketer that works side by side with you for $20 a month. That's what GPT-4 costs. And it will spawn with a lazy prompt. I call it lazy prompting. I'm going to show you a lazy prompt. We're going to do it live. It'll blow your mind once you train GPT to do this. So this is a sales enablement ladder. These are all the things that we do at Pitch Kitchen, from assessment, validation interviews, the messaging framework, website wireframing, prototyping, design, content generation. So the content generation here is training the OpenAI GPT to become your branded content generator so you can lazily prompt and generate 100% on brand marketing content. So you're not buying that from us, you're buying that from OpenAI GPT, but it's only extremely valuable if you do the training first and that work. And the training happens when you answer all of these questions. And this is the hard frickin' work. Okay, this is really the hard work. Who are you selling to? Who are they? Who's your ideal customer? What do they want? What do they really want? What is their problem as it relates to what you're helping them with? What changes are happening in the world that's making their situation worse? What's the process of working with you? What's the injustice making their status quo intolerable? These are questions that we actually get on the phone, do Zoom interviews, and get to the bottom of. But once we have answers to all these questions, once you have answers to all these questions, you essentially have a document that looks like this. It's like several pages with all the training data, the messaging, the tone, the problem, the solution, all of that great content. That's content, it's narrative, it's strategy. Once you go around the journey and get that answered, you could then create the co-intelligent marketing and then spawn with a lazy prompt a torrent of blog posts and articles. And I'm popping out of here and I just want to show you here. This is GPT-4. And if you go to explore GPTs, these are my GPTs. This is one that we made for Expedition. After going to Expedition, you can see on my screen, uploaded the Expedition Communication Magnetic Messaging Framework, which is the 15-page document. Trained the GPT here to not use all these bad words like bespoke and ultimate, revolutionize, and give it some style guide, and then lazily prompt saying, yo, chat, yo, build, no, yo, write for me a quick article on article for a magazine. So like that is like the laziest prompt ever, right? Yo, write me a quick article for a magazine. And I said nothing more, just that. And so this is the Expedition Communications Marketing Copywriter. This has been trained on everything the Expedition Communication Company does, what problem they solve, who they do it for, what the buying process is for, what their products are, and then boom, lazy prompt, the unseen heroes of today's connected world. In an age where communication is vital as the air we breathe, interruptions, even for a minute, can spell disaster. So boom, boom, this is written with the clarity and the on-brand focus that was trained. So if this is making sense to you, is this blowing your mind? I don't know. If you've seen this before, probably not. Type in the chat. Have you seen this before? What I just shared with you. Type in the chat. Have you seen this before? This is available to you. This is available to you. It's available using OpenAI GPT for $20 a month. I don't make money from GPT. I make money from helping you figure out your story, that can then, this thing, this maze, these questions that are so hard to answer about what the promised land is, what are you rebelling against, what's the buying plan, the buying vision, what's your authority and credibility, what are the barriers to change, all these like strategic questions in your business. If we get those answered and train the GPT, mind blowing, you get a co-intelligent marketer on your staff for dirt cheap 24/7, doesn't have to eat, doesn't have to go to the bathroom, and will produce enormous amounts of on-brand content for you. I'm blown away by this fact, and this is the future. This is the absolutely the future where smart CEOs are going, where you're going to have that co-intelligent marketer on your team. So I shared with you the GPT that we created for that company. We create GPTs. You can create them given the output of the work we would do together of the magnetic messaging framework. And that will help you make this distinction where instead of you leading with your solution, saying stuff that GPT might say without the training, we're providing a unique complex solution leveraging revolutionary technology, blah, 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 to messaging that cuts through the noise and allows you to create yourself a category of one. And it's hard to do because when you're inside your own solution, your own box, it's hard to see how customers see you. So Masood hired us before sales were declining. They were doing 30 demos to one sale. Can you imagine that? 30 demos to one sale. Anxious about limited financial runway. After he dialed in their story, their website, their sales presentation, working with us, amazing outcomes. This is the outcome, get intelligent recovery. And it's so much better than the before. This is the before. Kubernetes application resiliency starts here. So that sounds like a heroic, like they're the hero. Get intelligent recovery sounds like more the statement of the guide, encouraging the hero. Hope that makes sense. They tripled their at bats, doubled their win rate in just 2 months. New salespeople are actually closing deals with minimal training. And that's because the marketing is doing the heavy lifting and not making salespeople do it with every single conversation. So we are nearly at time. This is the magnetic messaging framework as shows up in a template for your website. I'm going to share it with you here at the top. You could, at the top of your browser, I'm going to share the handout. You should see handout there, and type in the chat um, if you're able to download it. Also, second Tom's question. Tom, any danger in pushing your information into public AI engine? Tom, great question. We'll answer that at the end when we have time, if we have time. Um, okay, so actually, I'm going to answer that right now. So we're talking about marketing and messaging that is going to be on your homepage, and you want it to be in the public domain. So if you don't want it to be in public domain, then you're not training the GPT on it. Does that make sense? Type in the chat if that makes sense. Okay. So this is the magnetic messaging framework, and you'll see it's a beautiful homepage in that each section of the homepage has a attribute of who is this for, what is the results that they want, what's the problem. And these are some examples of some sites that at the very top, which really needs to be a website in and of itself, all the elements at the top of the magnetic messaging framework. And this has it. For example, the call to the promised land, the description of what it is, and the call to action, who it's for, all that needs to be there. So type in the chat if you're able to get the handout. Just want to make sure if you're able to get that. Okay. This is the solution section. You can go through this very carefully and see the underlying skeleton that is the winning recipe for a wonderful prospect engaging website, where your call to action is more of a call to value. It's not just learn more, get started, which are passive call to actions. It's very specific about what you want them to do. You got to tell people, get on the dance floor. Come on, people, get on the dance floor. You got to tell people what to do if you want them to do it. I also think forms are dead in 2024. Definitely have them book on like a more like Calendly type of thing, where it's a single click. And once they click on Tuesday, that's when you hit them up with their name, their company name, and maybe some qualification questions. About the sales presentation, you need to have a sales presentation that where you're helping your salespeople have the right conversations, so that if a customer is admitting that they have a problem, instead of the salesperson going on and on about, great, here's a solution, that's what the homepage is for. The sales presentation is having them have the right discussions, the right conversations about why they need that fixed. Why do they need that fixed now? And what's happening? What are the ripple effects in the business that are happening if this problem goes unsolved? Would you agree that having those type of conversations in a sales presentation would yield more sales, better outcomes than just here's my 19 slides to show you how amazing our frickin' solution is? Okay, way better. So most people do not know how to design presentations. I say design conversations, not slides. And I'm going to give to you this three-part structure, which is the best sales presentation you can ever have, which is starts out helping you frame the problem, talking about the solution, and the plan to get there. And I'm going to give to you guys a link that will give you the agenda, the structure for the best sales presentation. But the secret weapon here, and just to recap, the secret weapon is an outside expert who's going to refine your story through facilitated interviews, who's going to redesign your homepage, essentially your website, sales deck, sales marketing, messaging to make it problem centric, and to use the finished framework to pre-train a GPT to generate all this amazing content. So this is what I promised to you. I promised that you had to nail your sales message, turn your homepage into a home run, why it's game over for most marketing playbooks, how to attract ideal customers into buying conversations and lead your category, and how to use AI to create a torrent of 100% on-brand content. I hope I delivered on that promise here in the 5 shifts. And this is what you need to do to win. You need to lead a movement. You need to start with the problem, make your customer the hero, making you the guide, name your category, and use the secret weapon. That is going to do it. So I would say now you have a choice. You can go it alone, and I want you guys to be successful, or you can get expert help who have done this before, use this proven frameworks before. If you snap that picture, that QR code, you can book some time if you want to. And this is what I have for you in the offer tab. Just click in the offer tab just to make sure you can get that offer. You should be able to get that link as well. But in the chat, you just type in if you have any questions. And did I answer your question about how do you feel about your stuff going into the retrainable AI and the cloud? Did I answer your question on that? So in this 45-minute call, we're going to discuss a personalized sales and marketing gap assessment. I'm going to give you some very specific recommendations and give you a game plan to getting it done. And it's absolutely free, and it's if you qualify. And so if you qualify, basically you need to be that CEO that we talked about earlier, taking your business seriously and in that range that we discussed. So giveaway time. So I gave away the 16-part magnetic messaging framework. Let me now give away the 12 sales conversations that open minds and close deals. I'm going to just put this in the chat. It's a link to the 12 conversations. Yeah, I'll show the QR in just a quick second, Scott. There's the link to the 12 conversations, and I'm also going to give the link to the GPT homepage messaging evaluator. You can score your website, and in the remaining time, I'm going to do some critiques on your websites that you put in the links above. So I just put in 2 links. There's the ChatGPT link. So just so you know, that GPT link is only if you pay for the $20 a month GPT OpenAI. Again, I'm not getting that money. OpenAI is, but that's using the capability of GPT-4, which is far superior than the free GPT-5, 3.5. And so that's the link. If you can't access it, just email Molly at pitchkitchen.com, and Molly on my team will send you the results. Pitchkitchen.com. I'm putting the Molly's email address in the chat. So that's the giveaways, the 12 sales conversations that open minds and close deals. Now let's get to your questions. There's the QR code up on the screen. What are your questions that you have? What are your comments about the 5 shifts? Which shift for you was the most like mind shattering, mind blowing? Which shift was the biggest one for you? So no, there'll be no recording of this. I think there might be a recording. If you email me, I can send you a copy, or email Molly at pitchkitchen.com. So which of these which shift really hit you right between the eyes, and really you think you can make a big difference in getting new business through? Which of those five shifts? Uh, the AI one, yeah, you the secret weapon. But so let me ask you a question, Andrew. So Um, if I just jumped into talking about the secret weapon before I started talking about the four shifts that need to happen, do you think people would get it? Do you think that would be sufficient if I just focused on number five? I honestly want to know the answer to that. Gavin, two or three? Yeah, 2 and 3. Start with the problem. So, Kurt, that question was for Andrew, so no. So it's important. A lot of people are sort of enamored with like, oh, AI enabled this, and AI is going to solve the world, and AI, all this AI hype. But if you spent any sleepless nights, as I have, with trying to get GPT to do amazing things, you'll know that what really leads to great outcomes in using AI is the training, the investment in the training, and that's going to get you the outcome that you want. If you've done that, then you know that. And then, but you can't explain that to people unless they really take a square look at what their marketing is now. Because if you say, GPT, look at my website, and then create marketing from it, it's like a garbage in, garbage out scenario. That's what I meant. Your approach to training. Yeah, got it. Yeah. Agreed. So I want you guys to be wildly successful. I do this. I'm the CEO of Pitch Kitchen, as you know, and my people are you guys. I am in business to help you guys break through the barriers that you have, which I believe is your message, standing between you, your innovation, and your ideal customers, who are the ones that are going to benefit from the amazing innovation that you've built, that you're building, and the frameworks and the approach that I'm so excited about. I'm excited about because it works. I've seen it work again and again. And my mission is to help you guys adopt these approaches so that you can be wildly successful. So, questions, comments? We're a little bit over time here. I know that if you don't hire an outside expert, you're going to struggle to do this. Your marketers really aren't paid to take an opposing view. We will take an opposing view, and that opposing view is more of the view of your prospects. I'm going to put myself in the shoes of your prospects, who the risk of changing is greater than the risks of staying the same. I'm going to go there. I'm going to, like, shirts off, pants off, put my feet in their shoes. I'm going to go there because I want to know what the tipping point is. And most marketers that you hire will not do that. They'll just type up some happy horse shit that is going to make you feel really good about your product, but is not going to help you sell. I'm sorry. That's some harsh truth right there, but that is just the way it goes. Welcome, Sheila. We'll go back and forth between good opinions. This is gonna, we call this a, round robin idea mill, and it happens. If you don't really get this outside expertise that we're talking about, you're likely going to be using frameworks that aren't proven to work. You're going to be stuck in what I call a solution-driven idea pool instead of problem-solve driven. And if I look back at some of these things, it was like very hard for some of you guys to put down in words what problem you're solving. It kept on being put down in words of solution-driven, and that is why it's so hard to do. So now let's jump out and do some website critiques. So we got Brian's, we got Scott, Dorian, Benjamin, William, Gavin, Andrew. Let's go to, how about adomohealth.com. Let me just copy this URL, and let's pop out over here and go there. This is Benjamin's website. Thank you, Benjamin. So quick critique here. Quick critique. The leader in on-demand mobile diagnostic services. Okay, right off the bat, first of all, it's a pretty website, but second of all, says who? Okay, so if you have to say you're the leader, everyone thinks that you're not the leader. It's like no one believes that. So your credibility goes way out the window with messaging like that. Delivered when and where patients prefer for better care and better outcomes. So it's aspirational, but I'm not clear. Like, what are you selling? Order now. What am I buying? Am I buying an ultrasound machine? an X-ray machine. I don't know what I'm buying. I don't know who I need to be. Who am I? Who is this for? Is this for doctors? Is this for hospitals? Is this for clinics? What is the plan? What is the plan that would get me from, oh, how it works? Step one, send the order. Adomo handles logistics, receive the results. So 10 points. Wonderful. I like your plan. Beautiful. Why Adomo? Order now. So good work there. Decent. Could use a little bit of tweaking on the messaging there. I think you're missing about 6 sections if you refer to the um, uh, magnetic messaging framework. You'll see which sections I mean. Let's go to Scott's Lang Marketing. Strategic marketing from insight to impact. Who is this for? I don't know. Oh, wow. You work with some big companies. You've got services. Okay. What do you want me to do? You want me to fill out a form? Okay, I would say it should be a Calendly, not a form, but not bad, not bad. Dorian, funding hope. Okay, funding hope. Be an investor in women's founders. So what I like this because it starts with a call from a guide in this story, a voice of a guide to uh, to the hero. In this case, I think it is who the aspiration of who Funding Hope wants to sell to, which is people who wants to be an investor in community, in minority founders, in women founders. I like it. I like it. I like that you've basically got clear on what the goal is, the number one goal of your people that you're serving. What I don't like here is all these options. I'm like, do you want me to invest? Sign up. Door number one, door number two. I got other doors up here. There's way too many doors. It should be one freaking door for people to come in. Do you want me to sign me up? Do you want me to invest? So by the way, invest maybe to like get married. Do you want to like a dating site? Get married would be here. Like forget the cup of coffee at Starbucks or in like a public place. It's like let's get married. So that doesn't work too well. Your call to action is just too strong, meaning like no one's gonna want to click the invest button. Good health. This is pretty good. So what I don't see here is the problem. I'm missing a problem section and the problem that your ideal customers are facing. So this is missing problem. But pretty much I like what I'm seeing here. Let's go to Gavin, Doc Solutions. Let's just copy this. Gavin. All right. Welcome to Doc Solutions. Welcome to Doc Solutions, your document management strategy partner. So first of all, you're telling me that I'm your partner and you don't even know who I am. Who are you selling to? Document security people, electronic document management. I don't know who this is for. Is this for me? I'm a CRM manager in a Fortune 500 company, document manager. I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if you work for people like me. I don't know. Contact us. Okay, if I click that, there's a contact number, there's a form. All right, contact form. Okay, I'm out. It's a like a little clunky. This should be right there on the homepage, booking time, and then the form after they pick the date and time. Document assessment, strategy development. So I don't know if you're selling software or you selling services. So it's like, I don't know what this is. Is it software? Is it services? So there's massive confusion in my mind as to what you're selling here. And you're missing like 9 out of the 12 elements of that magnetic messaging framework. And so I would go to work on that if I were you. All right. Higher Grove. This is from Andrew. Splash page only, but I like splash pages in general. You should tell a story. Hire faster. Consider the best in the market. Schedule your hire consultation. Calendly. So you can embed that Calendly right on the page. Don't make that an extra click. And this is missing so much content. This is just text. Like, what is this? So I am not impressed. I don't know if you're getting anybody to click on this. Telecommunications, semiconductors, high tech. So if I'm a who in high tech, if I'm Elon Musk, I'm going to be wanting to hire Grove. I don't know. Maybe if I'm NVIDIA, I'm a semiconductor. I'm the vice president of operations of NVIDIA. Am I going to hire Grove? So I'm totally confused who this is. What are you selling? Executive search, hired people, getting people. All right. So listen, this is my take on it, but you can ask ChatGPT with the link that I copied above to give its assessment, unbiased, of course, but using the magnetic messaging framework that we trained it on. Anyway, guys, I love you. You guys way over time, an hour and 15 minutes. I hope you got value from this masterclass, and I want to wish you all the best and with a successful business. And I hope that we have an opportunity to help you if you're serious about making a dent in your sales and your growth. So, with that, I want to wish you guys a wonderful Wednesday and go free in the world and be wildly successful. Cheers, everybody. Thanks so much. You guys are absolutely awesome. Thanks you for participating.